in your books, obviously, you've charted the post-war political scene, and I mean, if you like, the genesis of these problems was quite a long time ago, wasn't it, for Labour, really?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think you're absolutely right that, I've been writing about Britain since the 50s, really, and even as early as about 1968. Actually, let's take 1968. So in 1968, Enoch Powell made his famous, the speech that we remember as the Rivers of Blood speech. And in his diaries at the time, the Labour cabinet minister, Richard Crossman, said, this is really a problem for us because a lot of our voters agree with him. And even at that point, so, very early on, there was this sense of an emerging tension between the kind of people who basically ran the Labour Party and the kind of people that they expected to turn out every 5 years to vote for it. And I think that has, it's been getting worse over time. And the other problem, of course, for Labour is it's a Victorian political party that's rooted, its very name, the Labour Party is kind of rooted in this world that basically is gone. You'll know as well as I do that that sort of world of, everybody lived in back-to-backs, they worked in their local factory, they went to their local football club on a Saturday, there was a pub at one end of the street and a kind of Methodist chapel at the other. That world has gone. And Labour has struggled, I think, to adjust to a world in which people see themselves much more as individual consumers than as sort of class-bound in the way that they were in the 1930s or something.
What do you think the chances are, Dominic, of Labour sort of even giving up the pretense of being a working-class party, for the reasons you said, and becoming a radical middle-class party?
Well, that might seem an obvious way to go. So you look at the Greens in Germany. Yeah. Labour could try to evolve into a party like that, or a party like the Democrats in the United States. The problem, though, is that they are the second party in the first past the post system. So that would mean giving up on an awful lot of seats. hundreds of seats, basically. And, what sane leader of the opposition writes off, 150 otherwise, hopefully reliable seats and gambles that they can win lots of, leafy, suburban, southern English seats. I think that would be incredibly reckless. The danger is that you just win neither. Yes. So I think in a way the electoral system the danger for Labour actually is the electoral system will trap them as a zombie party. They'll always finish second. They'll never, even in 2019 under Jeremy Corbyn, they won a lot of seats. Not enough, but they still won, more than 200 seats. So that's right, isn't it? They won about 200 seats. I can't remember exactly how many.
202, I think, yes.
Yeah. So the danger is, if you assume that's roughly the floor and that the ceiling could be, 280 or something, that they just end up permanently trapped around that, and that perhaps over time they are eroded by the Tories, and that they turn into a sort of, could they make it as a kind of superior version of the Lib Dems? I don't know. I think the danger they have now is, of course, the Tories are slightly stealing their clothes. Yes. If you want a party that's levelling up, to use Boris's jargon, and to, doling out the cash and all that sort of stuff, why would you choose Labour when you've got one in government as it is?
Yeah.